They looked at me like I didn't belong, like love had a color, like money had rules. But what they didn't know was, he didn't see any of that. He just saw me. And no matter what they said, this billionaire made it clear I was his world. Before I tell you how it all happened, how I went from being judged for my skin to being loved beyond my wildest dreams, don't forget to hit subscribe because I have so many more stories from my heart to yours. Trust me, you don't want to miss them. I'm just a girl who never thought she'd end up in a story like this. A black woman from a small town where everyone knows your name, where dreams feel like they belong to someone else, someone richer, lighter, luckier. Growing up, I learned early that life doesn't hand you fairy tales. My mom worked double shifts just to keep the lights on, and I helped raise my little brother while trying to keep my own head above water. Love? That was something I saw in movies, not in real life. Especially not the kind where a man looks at you like you're the most precious thing in the world. But everything changed that one night. I wasn't looking for love. I wasn't even dressed to impress. I was just helping out at this upscale charity event, one of those places where everyone wears names like designer labels and smiles with their teeth, but not their hearts. I felt invisible, like background noise, until he saw me. And when I say saw me, I mean really saw me. Not the way most men glance at me with assumptions in their eyes. Number. He looked at me like I was art, like I was something rare. And in that moment, a small part of me whispered, what if this isn't just a glance? What if this is the start of something real? I know what you're thinking. What does a billionaire have to do with a girl like me? Trust me, I thought the same thing. I had doubts, fears, a wall built so high around my heart. But what came next? It wasn't just unexpected, it changed everything I believed about love, about belonging, and about who I really am. And this is our story. It started like something out of a dream, the kind you never expect to live through. That night at the charity event, I was just helping out, passing champagne and staying out of the way. I remember feeling completely out of place, surrounded by gowns that probably cost more than my rent, and people who only seemed to talk to each other if there was something to gain. Then he walked in. I didn't know who he was at first. I mean, I knew his name. Everyone in the city did. Billionaire, tech genius. One of those men who had his own wing in magazines and a face that lit up business articles like a movie star. But I didn't recognize him immediately. Not because he wasn't handsome, because he looked real. He wasn't posturing or faking a smile. He just moved through the room like he didn't need to prove anything. I was refilling glasses when I noticed him glance over at me. Just a quick look. I looked away, embarrassed. Why would he be looking at me? Out of all the women in that room, dripping in diamonds. But he didn't just look. He walked toward me. Not drinking? He asked, kind of amused. I laughed nervously. I'm working. Well, that's a shame, he said, smiling, because I was hoping you'd join me for a drink. For a second, I froze. Did he mean me? Was he joking? Playing some rich man game? But he waited, patient, kind, like he meant it. And in that moment, something shifted inside me. I said yes. That was the first time I felt it. That pull. The beginning of something I didn't have words for yet. But I knew deep down, this wasn't just small talk. This was a spark. After that night, everything changed, but not in the way you'd expect. We started talking more. He'd call late at night after his meetings, and I'd be curled up on my couch, still in my hoodie, hair tied up, no makeup on. And somehow, he liked me best that way. It was surreal. Here I was, just a girl juggling two jobs and student loan stress, talking to a man who flew private and sat on boards with CEOs. It felt like two worlds colliding. His, all luxury and power. Mine, all hustle and survival. And even though he never made me feel less than, I couldn't stop feeling it anyway. Like I was walking into a life that didn't have space for someone like me. I remember Googling his name one night and just staring at all the articles, Forbes covers, red carpet photos, interviews where he looked so polished and perfect. And then I looked at myself in the mirror. Brown skin, tired eyes, a heart full of dreams I never said out loud. Was I crazy to think I belonged next to him? But he never let me spiral too far. He saw it in my eyes when I got quiet. One night I asked him, "Why me? You could be with anyone." He didn't hesitate. "Because when I talk to you," he said, "I don't feel like a brand or a number. I feel like me. And I think you might be the only person who really sees me." That hit me so hard I almost cried. It wasn't about money or fame or what anyone else thought. It was about how we made each other feel, and that feeling was starting to matter more than all the noise around us. At first, it felt like a fairy tale, but fairy tales don't prepare you for what happens when the world doesn't approve of your love. When people started finding out about us, the whispers came fast. At restaurants, at events, even online where strangers had plenty to say about a black girl like me being with a man like him. I still remember the first article. They didn't say my name, but they didn't have to. They called me an unlikely match, from a different background, not his usual type. I wasn't shocked, just tired. People judged me without knowing a thing about me. They reduced me to my skin, my neighborhood, my job, as if I couldn't possibly offer anything more than a pretty face and a different kind of story for the headlines. The hardest part? Seeing the judgment in his circle. The forced smiles from women who used to want him. The fake kindness from business partners' wives. One even whispered to me at a gala, "Enjoy it while it lasts, sweetie." I went to the bathroom and cried. I started pulling back, second guessing everything. Maybe they were right. Maybe I didn't belong. But he noticed, and he wasn't having it. One day, during a very public event, someone made a comment, something slick and quiet, meant to humiliate me, and he didn't let it slide. He stood up in front of everyone and said, "This woman is my heart. If anyone has a problem with that, the door's right there." That moment, it broke something in me, not my spirit, my doubt. He didn't just say he loved me, he proved it, even when it was uncomfortable, even when it cost him. And that's when I knew we were in this together. After everything, the judgment, the whispers, the doubt, I thought maybe things would cool down, but they didn't. If anything, the outside pressure only got heavier. But here's what surprised me. Instead of pulling us apart, it brought us closer. He started opening up in ways I never expected. One night, we were lying on his penthouse balcony, just staring at the stars. No fancy dinner, no cameras, no noise, just us. That's when he told me something I'll never forget. "I've had money since I was in my 20s, he said. "I've had power, recognition, the whole thing, but I've never had peace, not until you." That moment, it quieted every fear I'd been carrying, because I realized something. As different as our worlds looked, our hearts weren't that far apart. We both knew loneliness. We both wore masks for the world. And we both just wanted to be seen for who we really were. We started doing the simple things, cooking together, dancing in the kitchen, going on late night walks in hoodies so no one would notice us. That's when I saw the real him, not the billionaire, just the man. And he saw me, not the girl the world tried to label, but the woman I was becoming. We talked about everything, our childhoods, our regrets, our dreams. He told me about the pressure of always being on, the fear of being used, the emptiness of fake relationships. I told him about growing up with nothing, about watching my mom break her back to raise us, about the nights I used to cry myself to sleep, wondering if I'd ever be enough for anyone. He didn't flinch. He held me, and in that space, no filters, no fear, our bond stopped being just about love. It became about truth. But even the strongest love has its breaking point. It happened at a company gala, a huge event with press, investors, and every important person in his business world. He invited me, of course, said he wanted me by his side, always. I spent hours getting ready. I wore this elegant black dress, simple but beautiful. I wanted to feel confident. I wanted to feel like I belonged. But the moment we walked in, I felt it. The stares, the fake smiles, the quiet, tight-lipped nods from women who didn't think I deserved to be on his arm. One man even mistook me for a server and tried to hand me his empty glass. I laughed it off in front of him, but inside, I was sinking. I tried to push through the night, but the weight got too heavy. I slipped away, found a quiet hallway, and cried silently into my hands. I kept thinking, why am I putting myself through this? Why am I making him deal with this? By the time he found me, I'd already made up my mind. I can't do this anymore, I whispered. I love you, but maybe love isn't enough. He just looked at me like he was seeing me for the first time all over again. Then, without a word, he took out a little velvet box, not a ring, but a key. To our new home, he said softly, somewhere we make our own rules. I broke, not because of the house, but because of what it meant. He wasn't asking me to survive in his world. He was building one with me in it. And that changed everything. That was the moment I realized love isn't just a feeling, it's a choice. After that night, everything shifted. We stopped trying to fit into anyone's expectations. Instead of shrinking ourselves to be accepted, we started living boldly, unapologetically. He didn't just love me in private anymore, he loved me out loud. Interviews, public appearances, even social media. He made sure people saw who I was, and more importantly, who I was to him. He started bringing me into his world in real ways, not just as his girlfriend, but as his partner. He asked for my ideas on his charity projects. He introduced me to his team, invited me into conversations that once felt out of reach. He wasn't just including me, he was uplifting me. And I stepped into it. I found my voice. I stopped hiding. We were growing, not just as a couple, but as individuals, stronger, more grounded. Every time someone doubted us, we got closer. Every rude comment became fuel for our fire. It wasn't about proving anyone wrong anymore. It was about proving ourselves right. He made me feel powerful, and I think I did the same for him. We weren't just surviving the storm anymore. We were dancing in the rain together. I'll never forget the day he proposed. It wasn't flashy or dramatic, no helicopters or red carpets. It was quiet, intimate, real. Just the two of us at the little beach spot we always went to when we needed to escape the world. The sun was setting, the sky was melting into gold and pink, and I was barefoot in the sand, laughing at something silly he said. Then he got serious. He held my hand, looked me straight in the eyes, and said, I've had everything money can buy, but I've never had this. I've never had you. I didn't even see the ring at first. I was too busy crying. But then he pulled it out, simple, elegant, exactly my style, and asked, Will you build a forever with me? It wasn't about the ring or the moment. It was about the journey, every tear, every judgment, every moment we chose each other when it would have been easier to walk away. So I said yes, not because he was a billionaire, but because he was mine. And in that moment, the girl they said didn't belong became the woman he chose for a lifetime. If you're still listening, maybe you're a girl like me. Maybe you've been told you're too different to be loved deeply. Maybe the world has tried to convince you that you don't fit, that you need to be more of this or less of that to be worthy. Let me tell you something I wish someone told me sooner. You don't have to shrink yourself to deserve love. You don't have to come from money or look a certain way or have a perfect story. You just have to be you, real, honest, and open to something that scares you because it matters. I thought I'd never be the kind of girl a man like him would fight for. But it wasn't about who he was. It was about who we became when we were together. That's what love is, not fantasy, not perfection, connection. So if you ever find yourself doubting your worth, remember my story, because I'm living proof they were wrong about me, and they might be wrong about you too. Don't let the world decide your place. Love doesn't care where you're from. It only cares that it's real. If you've ever felt like you didn't belong, let this be your reminder. You do. Don't let anyone make you feel small. My love story isn't perfect, but it's mine. And if you want to hear more, hit that subscribe button and join me again soon.